Hey everybody, this is Michael Antonio live, and I just wanted to talk to you today about uh, what happened the other day with Ellen DeGeneres. And of course, before I get into actually what's going on here, I do want to say that, of course, what she said was correct. You know, this is what fair-minded people, especially conservatives, have been wanting since the beginning. You know, what we call, a kinder, gentler kind of discourse with our opponents, with the people we disagree. So I think that, this whole conversation about, whether what she said was good or bad. Look, right now we consider the left our enemy mainly because, well, their ideas are definitely our enemy. But we actually consider many of them our enemy because they are so incredibly acidic and out of sorts, so angry, and there's no civility. So I think that we all know ahead of time that what Ellen DeGeneres said was true, of course. However, I do have a little bit of skepticism about her sincerity. And I'm not saying she's not 100%, I mean, she's 100% insincere. I think there is maybe a little tincture. But I think a lot of this is, and again, it's not something that I think she necessarily plotted in and of herself. But I want to point out what this truly is. What she said, although at the forefront it is true, this is kind of a larger. This is kind of a larger. I'll call it a plan. I'll call it a. I wouldn't go as far as say it's a conspiracy, but I think it's something that's kind of ingrained in the leftist mentality.
Hey guys, if you want more great content from me, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Come on, what are you waiting for?
What they do is they choose the most, I guess, the easiest path, the path of least resistance, okay, to make a point, something that's easy for them to do. And so this is the way their whole lives are patterned. Everything as easy as it can be. And so I'll give you an example. George W. Bush, although many of his ideas are, scolded by the left, they don't like what he believes in, or at least most of the things. However, George W. Bush generally is a very affable character. He's a very agreeable person. And so what we do is we end up, when someone like Ellen DeGeneres says, well, we have to learn to get along. Look, I got along with George W. Bush. We're sitting at the game, chatting. It's a great time. And, we need to learn to do more of that. And like I said, I think that's fantastic. What she said was fantastic. But let's be honest. I think almost anyone would get along with George W. Bush in a one-on-one setting. You're sitting there with him. You're catching the game. And he's kind of a friendly Texas kind of a guy. You're like, hey, how's it going? Having some, beer, pizza, wings, you're loving it. But go ahead and sit next to someone like Donald Trump. Now, look, a lot of us would get along with Donald Trump, but there are a few who would say, I can't really identify with him directly. So it's a little more difficult because Donald Trump doesn't put up with anybody's crap. Donald Trump is the kind of person that has no fear of offending you if it's for something more important than the offense itself, than what the offense that you take. I hear a lot of people, even conservatives, and it kind of bothers me a little bit because they don't get the bigger picture. They're not wise enough to understand that when Donald Trump says something offensive, yes, does he do it too much? Look, I think sometimes he might. That's something that we can agree on, that sometimes he is. But see, that's the point. You can't throw out the baby with the bathwater. You kind of got to take all of Donald Trump if you want change. You got to take his whole attitude and everything about him. Sometimes it can be like one of these, that's a win, ooh. But sometimes his offense is necessary. Sometimes the offense is more important than the actual, it's more important, the idea that he's trying to get across, what he's trying to accomplish, than the person who's saying, well, I'm offended by him. Doesn't matter. It's more important that he get that across to people, to get them to understand something. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. You have to be more philosophical about this, and I'm sorry, but you have to. And if you can't do that, then you really don't belong in the fight. I don't think you should even consider being in this fight against, what we know to be very wrong in the world today. Donald Trump is at the forefront of this. He's our leader. And we have to understand that what he is doing is very important. And the offense, you're going to have to thicken up your skin a little bit. That's just the way it is with this. But getting back to what we're talking about here with Ellen DeGeneres, I hear a lot of conservatives and other fair-minded Democrats saying, "Oh, it's absolutely true. Oh, I love Ellen. Oh, I love her so much." And look, you can love Ellen DeGeneres. That's fine. And I have nothing personally against her. I don't know her, so I'm not gonna bash Ellen DeGeneres. This is kind of a larger argument that I'm making. This is what the left wing has done to even their own people. They don't even understand. They don't even understand what's happening to them. They have this mentality. They think, well, gee, if I can go to the path of least resistance, if I can find the most friendly, conservative, most friendly Republican to sit down with and have a good time, then I can show everybody, I can show the conservatives that, oh, hey, look, I get along with you guys. Look, oh, we're happy-go-lucky. This is fantastic. The problem is that's not really 100% sincere. It's not. Here's how she can show that she's sincere. I'm not even sure this is going to really matter too much, even if she does do this. But here we go. I want to see Ellen DeGeneres invite Donald Trump onto her show and to have a civil discourse. And that doesn't mean, and she might even invite Donald Trump to do a little dance with her. Would he? I don't know. But the point I'm making is, he probably would, because he can be like that. He can be a little bit happy-go-lucky sometimes. But it's the idea that if she were to do that, I would believe her a little bit more when she says what she is saying now. Because, see, that's not so easy. When she has already said some pretty bad things about Donald Trump, she essentially, anything short of calling him a Nazi, I mean, she pretty much, treated him as though he's a tin, what do they call it? A tinfoil hat crazy. He's insane. He's a dictator. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that she was saying about him.
You're a lying dog faced pony soldier.
She said he was dangerous. I mean, these are things that we have to be careful. Once they say it, you don't know if you can ever really get to the sincerity of this. You don't really know if you can. So, and again, I don't want to attack her personally on this. I want to see her invite him on the show. And if she can do that, she can gain a little bit of my respect. She can say, maybe I can respect her for that. Now, does that change what's going on with the left wing? Does that change the all-encompassing concept here that I'm trying to convey to you? No, because in essence, she is kind of a product of the left wing narrative and the mentality of what they do. They find the path of least resistance, and they always go after the weakest link. And let's be honest, George W. Bush, because he's affable in this situation, he is the weakest link. John McCain, when he was alive. And like I said, I'm not attacking him personally. I'm saying he was the weakest link. He was a person that they could use. It's always something they can use for their agenda. They want to make you feel like, look, we're friendly, but we can be friendly with you. We're the good ones. You're the bad ones. You still hate people that you don't agree with. You still, and it's really not true. I mean, I'm sure there are some conservatives that do literally hate other people for being left wing. I don't hate people. I don't like their ideas. I will tell them to their face that I don't like their ideas, but I still love people, and I still care about them enough to tell them the truth. So I think that's what's important. That's all I wanted to kind of say to you, to kind of understand that when someone like Ellen DeGeneres gets on TV and says that, look, I get along with him, this is the way we need to be. Look, I agree with that. So we can kind of we can glean the good from it. We can say, yeah, she's right. If you're a person who has begun to hate those that you don't agree with, you got to get away from that. You got to escape from that. So Ellen was right about that. Escape from that mentality that you hate them. Always focus it on the ideas that they are espousing and try to remove them from the idea. Try to extract those bad ideas from them by trying to convince them, by trying to let them see what's bad about what they're doing. Now, Sometimes you can show them by explaining it, but if you're not very articulate with your words and you can't get them to see it that way, you got to live life by example. You have to show them how you are different than them in that regard, and how they're believing and how they're acting, and maybe they can see the good in you. And that's, that will change a few of them, not all of them. Some people are just going to stay stubborn. They're going to stay in the life that they have chosen for themselves, and they're not going to change that course. That's just the way it is. So, again, guys, that's all I wanted to say about that, always take a philosophical approach to what the left wing is telling you. What these, especially the people on TV, because remember, they are the direct mouthpiece of the left wing and their narrative, because they're talking to a wide audience. They're talking to people who are not necessarily politically minded. They're talking to people who, I hate to say it, are a little naive in their thinking. They don't really understand. They don't understand that there are some bad people out there in leadership that are selfish, that really don't have good motives. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Just to let you know that, it's important that when we watch these things, understand the audience, understand what they're trying to do. And that's what you want to explain to your friends that are not politically minded. They may lean a little bit left. They may be centrist. They may be moderate. They might be, fair-minded people who just don't quite understand. So when they hear Ellen, I love Ellen, I love her so much. Look, they can still love her. That's fine. But get them to understand that Ellen may not be 100% sincere. And here is why. Here's why she may not be. And kind of go away from her a little bit and go to the ideals of the left wing and why they are so dangerous, why they are so insidious. Because they use the path of least resistance to show people something that's really kind of a false narrative. Oh, look, see, I can get along with them. Let's all get along with them. But see, when you ask them, wait, what about Donald Trump? What about the guy that you hate the most? Can you get along with him? I'm not saying you should ask them to love the guy. I'm just saying, can you have a civil discourse with the guy and discuss the ideas? Can you discuss those ideas? I don't know. Maybe they can. Now, they used to before he was president, and when he wasn't politically minded. They had him, Oprah had him on her shows. Of course, he was on Jimmy Fallon. We saw that show. He had a good time with him, touched his hair and everything. It was great, But the point is, now that he's political, now that he has gone to an arena where he can actually affect change that they don't like, now it's like, the claws come out. But if sit down and talk with them and have a civil discourse about the ideas, then I will begin to respect what they are doing. But see, in the back of my mind, actually in the middle and the front of my mind, I know that that's not their goal, because that's not what they want. Remember, they're just trying to trick you generally, and they may not even know they're doing it. Those mouthpieces for the left wing, the daytime and nighttime talk show hosts, they don't even really know. I don't think most of them don't even know what they're doing. They're doing it because that's just what's been ingrained in them. It's the path of least resistance. Now, and you remember what happened to Jimmy Fallon when he tried to be friendly with Trump. At the time when Trump was, running for office, when, even then they thought he would never win. But you notice what the left wing, the Hollywood and all these people did to Jimmy Fallon for being friendly with him. You see what they did to him? See, so if they wouldn't have done it, I don't think, with George W. Bush, because George W. Bush was already, in other words, his political life is over now. He's not a threat. He's not a threat to them anymore in that sense. In fact, he's kind of buddy-buddy with them. You know that his father, George H.W. Bush, was kind of a globalist. He believed in this, this global community, giving power to someone like the UN or, other larger entities and take away our sovereignty. And this is another reason why they don't like Trump, because Trump wants to go back to a nationalist model, which is the best model. National sovereignty is much more powerful than a global governance. I mean, we know this to be true. So it's much more, it gives us independence of thought and idea, and it actually saves the world in many ways. And we'll get into that in another video. I've already expressed this many times, but I just wanted to get you the idea. When you ever watch something from the left, I don't care what it is, trust me, they're being political, even if they don't know they are. They always have a mission. They always have a tactic. It's war. This is war, guys. That's what it is. Now, that war doesn't mean that we physically hate them or that we want to harm them. We don't want to harm them physically in any way. But we want to destroy their ideas. We certainly want to disarm them in the arena of ideas. And that's what we want. So that's what I wanted to express to you guys. If you have any thoughts on this, please comment in this video, and share this video and get people to comment, because we have to kind of get together on this. Don't fall prey to this idea that we're going to sit around in a campfire and sing Kumbaya with the left wing. It's not going to matter to them. They're trying to kill us. They're trying to destroy our ideas. I don't mean they literally want to kill us, but some of them might. Some of the higher ups might really want to, like the Maxine Waters of the world. But the point is, most fair-minded Democrats, most people, they don't necessarily want to kill us, but they do. Some of them want to kill our ideas. They don't like our ideas. So just share the video. Let everybody know that, watch critically. Be a critical thinker when you watch these people on TV and on videos that you see online. Be very careful and understand their inner workings. What are they trying to do here? And that's what I wanted to say about that. Guys, share your ideas, share the video, and we're going to see you later. Have a great day. You